Good evening. How are you today?
Ethan, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm also doing good. Thank you for asking. And thanks a lot for taking out time on a weekday and agreeing to talk to us about your MBA application journey. So, why don't we start with a quick introduction of yourself?
Yep. So my name is Bhushan. I completed my Bachelor's of Engineering in Information Technology in 2019. Post that, I've been working. I joined Infosys post my engineering. I worked for a global electronics client over there. I was responsible for managing their entire AWS infrastructure, whether it be technology development, cost optimization, and stuff like that. Ever since my engineering days, I was clear that I had to do something in finance along with technology because I believe that the way forward for finance is just using more and more technology to get your things correct, right? So that is why I tried to get into specifically into a fintech company. So I completed around 2.5 years stint at Infosys and joined Morningstar. At Morningstar, I basically joined their. They were build when I joined. They're building a new platform called the EDP Enterprise Data Platform. So it is the backbone of the entire Morningstar data. We are the ones who help the clients and the users to get in their data, process whatever data they want, and give the output time. Over my 4 year stint of Morningstar, I had a couple of promotions as well. I learned quite a few things over there. Recently, we have started AI implementation, stuff like that. When I got into the senior role in Morningstar, that is when I started to get some management related tasks, managing people and getting the tasks done, uh, handling teams. That is when I realized, okay, management is not something that you can learn on the go. You need some academic help.
Yeah,
Right, that's just like swimming, right? I mean, if you just directly jump into the pool, you may learn how to swim. But if you
yeah,
just take a coach, you take a coach and you try learning it properly, you will definitely learn it in a much better fashion. So that is why I decided to do an MBA. And yeah, and then I gave my GMAT. Had a couple of attempts at GMAT. When I thought that I have okay score, I can go for my admits. That is when I started going for admits. And yeah, I was researching on many of the people that help people get into MBA schools. I spoke a
yeah,
lot with quite a few of those folks. I spoke with you
yeah,
when I tried to reach out to LilacBuds. And then, yeah, I thought that our ideologies were much in sync.
yeah,
Namely, LilacBuds were unlike many of the other institutions, you were not like, okay, we have these specific schools, we will help you apply in these schools only.
yeah,
Like, but had we will help you apply whatever schools, will help you select the schools, will help you customize everything with respect
yeah,
to what that school needs based on
yeah.
the school's values and stuff like that. So that is why I selected Lilac Birds. I thought it's the best way to go. And yeah, everything
Great. So,
worked out
I
very well.
guess you touched a very important point, Bhushan, that and good to know that you were able to understand that through our initial conversations. And I remember that I was the one who had that first call with you
Yes.
about your plans to go for an MBA. That I mean, there is no cookie cutter approach where there is a set number of schools or set kinds of schools which students should apply to. Every school has something different to offer, and which one to pick depends on a lot of factors rather than only rankings or only certain criteria. So, very important point which you briefly highlighted here, and we'll surely talk about this later in the conversation. But before that, I would quickly want to understand a bit more about your motivation to go for an MBA. Right? You briefly touched upon that in your introduction, but could you tell us more about that? What made you decide that maybe MBA is the right degree for you from here on?
So firstly, I wanted to progress in the same direction for the fintech direction and include AI in it as well with the new on how technology is working forward. And as I mentioned in my previous answer, I just jumped into senior role around 2024. I
Yeah.
started managing teams. I started managing people, and I knew that okay, management is not something you learn on the go. And then obviously I wanted a big push towards my finance journey.
Yeah.
Going an MBA at this point was the best decision, and US MBA was a no-brainer. Okay, I considered Indian MBAs as well, but Indian MBAs are structured in a very different way than
Yeah.
US MBAs, right? So I just wanted to take the advantages of US MBA, be that practical learning, be that ability to select our electives,
Yeah.
many things, and then yeah, and then my motivation is to come back again to do something with the finance in tier one, tier two, low tier two cities over here to help the micro entrepreneurs, help them with the financial inclusion, create an element. So this was something that highly motivated me, the long-term goal on what I
Yeah.
wanted to achieve, and I knew that okay, MBA is just a stepping stone. I need to do that. Yeah.
Great. So, and what I mean, could you give an understanding to the viewers about your MBA application results? Which schools were you able to get in, and what were the scholarships which you were able to achieve?
Okay, so basically, I applied to six schools: Georgetown, SMU, Cox, Kelly, Fordham, University, Texas at Dallas, and University of Rochester. I got into Fordham, Dallas, and Rochester.
Okay.
Fordham and Rochester gave me about 50% scholarship. Dallas gave me much more. Dallas basically gave offered me. They converted my fee structure to in-house fee structure, and then
Okay.
upon that again they gave me $15,000 scholarship. So my entire fees just came out to around 20 25 odd $1,000.
Okay.
So that was a uh, scholarship bonus that for Texas gave me. But then I
Okay.
chose Rochester because Rochester had a bigger brand name, and it given that my future plans are getting into the finance industry,
Yeah.
Rochester is more well known for the finance
Yes.
courses than
Yes.
Texas. Texas is known for tech school, so that is why I chose Rochester.
Okay. So you finally decided to go to Simon Rochester, right? For your
Yes.
MBA. Great. So, Bhushan, so as I told you earlier, I clearly remember our initial conversation when you had maybe started talking to admissions consultants for your applications, and you briefly
Hmm.
touched upon the ideologies, right? The ideology match which you found with us. So, can you
Yes.
tell us a bit more about that? And then I would say your experience working with Prayash. How did that make your life easier?
So I with the ideologies, as I said, right, most of the quite a few of the consultants I spoke with, they had a set number of names of colleges that they wanted us to apply.
Yeah.
It was not the case with LilacBuds because even before I started application process or researching, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew which courses I wanted to go. I knew which colleges I wanted to go. So that is something that LilacBuds really helped me in, and even filtering around those colleges. So when I came with my list, I remember it around 12 colleges. So LilacBuds really helped me to scale down on what is the exact college, how you need to filter out which college you need to apply. So and working with them was a wonderful experience. So starting, I believe, was we as full-time employees, we just go away from the process of writing essays. So I was
Yeah.
made to write at least 6 to 7 stories to create story pools to get me into writing in the writing mood, and also to so that I have content for every essay that's needed. So more or less every school just needs a few things, a few same things in different ways. So once you
Yeah.
create like say 6 or 7 story pools, you can just use that content, write that content in a way that the school requires, matching the school's values and what the school's vision is, what the school asks from its candidates, and what the school hopes to deliver.
Yeah.
So preparation, if you prepare properly, 50% of your task is already done. That is what
Yes.
something was really helpful with Lilac. Writing the story pools, creating the proper college lists, and then preparing based on that lists of college.
Yeah.
Doing that properly, half of the task was done more or less over there. And secondly, when I used to write message, when I used to first, let's say we select, we are going to go for X school, we are going to target X school first, right? So me and Priyesh we used to have a deep discussion sessions on what are the essay topics for that school, what are the values, what are the vision, what is the expectations from that school.
Yep.
Based on that, we used to churn out ideas and what we can do. How do we need to structure our essay such that it fits the subject topic, it gets accepted by the schools. Right. Once the ideas was done, I used to write my essays, and then I used to give it to them. He used to go through the essays, come up with suggestions. I think for some schools we went through 5, 6 iterations. There are no limits to any number of iterations I could go through,
Yeah.
right? And we used to work on it until the essay got perfect, right? And only and only when the essay got perfect is when we submitted the essay.
Yeah.
Same with happened with video essay. I mean, I really struggled with video essay because we are not used to giving video
Yes.
essays and stuff like that. So I remember Priyesh recorded the entire video essay. He asked me to write a script. He recorded the entire essay and then he gave it to me. And then, okay, this is how voice modulation is done for every essay. This is how I want your body language to be. And then, yeah, everything. Then, I mean, there was quite a lot of help from Priyesh, a lot of, I mean, he knew how things are done. It was not like I was shooting dark in the dark, or dart in the dark, right?
Yeah.
So I had a proper guidance. Post my essays were submitted, I got interview invites. We had, I think, for every school, we had at least 2 interview sessions.
Okay.
Uh, even during the interview sessions, he told me that how my answers needs to be structured. How much do I need to research, right? So when I did my research, I went in such whole depths. I knew the entire course catalog of the schools. I knew which professor takes which course, which courses should I target in that school, what electives should I go for, and then taking all this into consideration, we structured my answers in such a way that once I gave the answer to a specific question, the interview never came back with a follow-up question for that answer.
Yeah.
They knew that I had done my entire research. I knew exactly what I wanted from this course and what I want to achieve. How will I achieve it, and what do I expect after my course is complete, right? So this mainly structuring on how you structure everything, how do you do a research, right? Everything was pretty much told to me by Priyesh. It was a great help working with him, yeah. And the process was seamless. The replies were, there were no issues with communications. We could just directly contact him via WhatsApp or even calls. We could schedule sessions using the LilacBud portals. Yeah, everything was smooth.
Great. So I guess, yes, you raised a couple of important points during your response, Bhushan. That number one, having a good set of story pools, right, which can help you convey yourself to the admission committee is very important, and which we
Mhm.
strongly emphasize on for all our students. And I'm
Mhm.
sure what what I can get from what you're trying to say is that at the end of the day, how well you sell your story in front of the admission committee, that will make it or break it for you. Right. And I
Yes.
guess through your interactions with our mentor Prayash, that was the focus, be it story pooling, be it your essay iterations, be it your interview prep, be it your video essays. Right. So yeah, I'm very happy to hear that you had an excellent experience with him, and I'll surely pass on the feedback to him as well. So finally, Bhushan, so it's been a rigorous journey for you, right? You were a reapplicant to the US MBA programs. It's been a rigorous journey for you, and I'm sure throughout the entire journey you would have had a lot of learning experiences, right? So if you
Yes.
were to pass on some of your learnings to the viewers who will be watching this testimonial, what would be your advice or nuggets of wisdom to then be?
My nugget, I would say, would be very spot on and as detailed as possible. So first time when I applied my short term, let's say one of the example, my short term goal was I want to get into an MBA and get into the finance sector. But the second time that I applied, I was so spot on that I want to do an MBA. I want to take these electives. I want to go into this role in this specific company and specifically this section. So that is how much I had done my research. So I would say go as detailed as you can. Show the admissions committee that you exactly know what you want. Go through the LinkedIn pages of the recruit, go through their annual reports, go to the recruiter list, go to the LinkedIn pages of the recruiter list of the, go to their course catalogs, go to the professors' profiles, create a extremely detailed plan. The admissions committee loves that you go very detailed. I would say, yeah, that would be the best. That was the major difference between my first application and second application. And I believe that is something that worked in my favor second time around.
No, I completely agree. I guess many students who come to us, they just have
Mhm.
big names in mind,
Mhm.
and many times they don't know how to put that aspiration in front of the admission committee. But one of the most important ways to be able to do that is through being as specific as you can be, which is what you rightly mentioned. And I guess that gives a clear indication to the admission committee that this is a well thought out decision which you're taking, and maybe you deserve that seat in the classroom. And I'm sure in your second shot at the top business schools, you were able to do that, and that is what resulted in multiple admits with heavy scholarships. So great, Bhushan. It was nice talking to you. Uh, all the best for your MBA journey, and we will be in touch. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karan. And yeah, it was my pleasure working with you, and really grateful that I got in touch with you guys, and you were great help.
Great.
It wouldn't have been possible without you guys.
Great. Thank you so much, Bhushan. Thank you for your feedback.